Hello, this is Mrs. Gaal, and I was thinking about you guys and thinking that maybe you would like to draw with me today. So I taught a lot of you about this portrait. This was a painting that Grant Wood made. He was an American artist. He painted this and put it on display at the World's Fair in 1930, and it's called American Gothic. This is probably the most well-known American piece of art, and people like to make spoofs of it. They enjoy looking at it and surmising, you know, who were these people? They're country folk representing American farmers. Why do they look this way? And just thinking about, you know, who is the farmer and how did they, what sort of life they lead and the hard work that they do. So anyways, we talked about that in class. But most of the artwork that Grant Wood painted over his career was landscapes and the American landscape. Here is a painting that he had made, and you see that it's got the crops, it's got plants, it's got a road amongst some hills and some trees. And there are a few things I want to point out to you about this piece of artwork. Things that are up close appear bigger. The line where the earth and the sky appear to meet is called the horizon line. You probably remember that. And he is glorifying, I guess I'll say, because of the beauty that he's portraying here with this piece of art. He enjoys America and the countryside, and specifically in this, the beauty of those planted crops. They make those interesting lines, the rolling hills, and so this is a landscape painting. American Gothic, that couple of farmers there, that is a portrait. Now today we're going to make a landscape drawing. You might have some supplies, some art supplies at home. You can use what you want. I'm going to use a Sharpie, and I have a paper here. My paper is 12 by 12 inches. Any size paper will work. If you don't have just white paper, you could use notebook paper or scrap paper or even construction paper. Mine's a little bit thicker because we're going to paint on it, so I want it to be able to withstand some water, but really even like a computer paper would be fine. So if you don't have a Sharpie, you want something that's not going to bleed later if it gets wet, like maybe a pencil or even a crayon that would get wet and not run, but a Sharpie is a really good tool for our project. I'm going to bring the camera in a little bit closer here so we can draw together, and let's get started. In the front or the foreground of my paper, I'm going to make some like bushes, because a lot of times when farm fields converge or come together, you have some sort of hedgerow. And up front, these bushes, I'm going to keep them kind of simple, but they kind of look like puffy clouds. You could make them like that, or you could make them completely round. That's fine with me. But make me a row, a hedgerow, okay? Feel free to pause it if I'm going too fast for you, okay? Towards the back, I'm going to make a couple of horizon lines, and where we live in Taste Valley, the earth rolls a little bit. It is very flat, but I'm going to let my horizon lines roll a little bit, because we know that even flat land is rolling. In the back here, maybe about, I'm more than halfway. Here would be like the middle. I'm up a little bit. I'm going to draw a line that curves down and then stops. And then I'm going to come back up that line a little bit and draw another curved line all the way to the edge of my paper. And then I think I will add one more hill that goes all the way from one side to the other. Now I'm drawing with a Sharpie, so that can make me a little bit nervous that I might make a mistake. So I could practice with my finger first, drawing a line that goes all the way from one side of the paper to the other. Now if I miss that, I can always add on to it, right? But I'm going to draw a line that curves across my page. All right? So now I have the appearance of 3 hills. We noticed in Grant Wood's picture that things that were further away were smaller, and so I'm going to draw on the horizon some trees. I'm going to say that this hill is closer to me and this hill is farther away. So on the top of this hill, I'm going to leave a little gap here, but I'm going to draw some treetops. I'm not going to overthink it because they're at a distance, so I can't see them super well, but those trees there, I'll add trunks in a minute. And then over here, since this is farther away, I'm creating an illusion. I'm going to draw some smaller ones. And then we'll add some trunks to our trees. Maybe a little. And over here. All right. Next, I want to think about those lines that the tractors plow and how they move when we, what those lines look like as they go back into space. So here on this first hill, I'm going to pick a point, and I'm actually going to make a little mark there to help me. You probably can't see that on my camera because it's kind of far. Let me see if I can. Ooh, sorry. If I can bring it in a little bit, but I'm going to make a mark here on my paper for a reference point. And then all of my crop lines, those probably have like a better name. Let me think. What would crop rows are going to come from there. So I'm going to draw one that comes down this way and kind of curves because we are making it look like a hill. But if yours is more straight, that's fine. And then when I get to the hedgerow, I'm going to stop because these bushes are in the front, and things that are in front of other things block your view, so you can't see that once it disappears into there. And then I'm going to do another one that comes down to here. This one, I'm going to kind of go pretty straight. Oh, and look at that. Each crop row coincides with a shrub or a bush. That's a good way to kind of keep track of what you're doing there. I've got another one, and this one's going to curve out the opposite way. All right, so that shows some perspective, and this dot that I drew here, that's a vanishing point. Now, we're not creating a super realistic drawing, but we are going to put a little vanishing point on every hill. So over here, I'm going to pick a different one. Under these trees, I'm going to say that the crop rows are going to vanish to there, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to draw a curved line coming down to here because this is this hill only. And then a curved line that ends up here and I stop. I'm going to do another one going here. And another line going here. And then this one, I'm going to kind of curve it that way. All right? And on our last hill, you know what? If you want to move, you don't have to do it just like me. If you want your vanishing point to be here, or like way over here, or in the middle somewhere, that's fine. I'm just gonna pick. I'm gonna pick like right here, and then I'm going to do the same thing. This farm field might all be one field on these 3 rolling hills. It might have different crops planted in it. I don't know. I'm going to decide that when I add the color. All right. One wobbles a little bit. I want to address the sky in my landscape painting here. We haven't painted yet, but that's what it's going to be. And there's all kinds of cool things you could do. We're going for this like Midwest farm theme, so you could do some clouds. You could make like a fence row back here, whatever you want, really. But I'm going to do like a giant setting sun, I think, right here. And I think that's all I want. I think I just want a maybe it's a sunrise, sunset, I'm not sure. But that is how we'll complete the first part, which is the drawing. I want you to remember it's a landscape drawing. It's based on the art of Grant Wood, American artist, and we will paint it when you watch the next video. What supplies might you want to gather up so you can paint with me? I'm going to use Crayola markers and a paintbrush and water, but I'll show you that in the next video.